A friend of mine, Jimmy, just sent me information about this actor John Amos, who's actually a pretty good actor from a series called Good Times, which was a pretty good series back in the 1970s. And this so happens to be that during that time he got fired from the show because he was asking the producers and sometimes demanding. It was a black family show. That the father figure and everyone else, especially one of their kids, be portrayed like some people who have nice goals and aspirations, and not like shocking stereotypes, basically, which is what it ended up being. Now, this is very important because, first of all, this is someone who's still fighting the good fight. So, kudos to him. What I suggest you go watch his interviews and everything he has to say. I mean, the producers of the show have already recanted and stated that he was correct on what he was saying. But this is very important because if you just check, you can see that the black family was actually one of the most tight knit families in the history of mankind, not to mention the history of the United States. There were like 90% stability. And this is during the 1950s. I mean, even during segregation, and even during, I think if you check a little backwards, even during slavery, of course, assuming when piece of crap masters didn't separate them in pieces of shit, uh, they were the most stable families like ever, like over 90%. Even whites at their height reached 85. And it's very important to see that after the 1970s, and when you start getting all these kind of shows, where deprecate like parents, kids start like idiots, stuff like that, the family started to break apart. And then after 1970s, now it's what, 85% absentee parent rate, 70% divorce rates, and a lot of stuff like that. You can see that during this period, the 1970s on forward, society has been pushing certain rules and certain norms that have been, basically destroying the family. Kids have been kicked out. Oh, you're already 18. Fuck off. It's like, oh, okay, I guess. I mean, some people can make it, some people can't. But I mean, it's still. I mean, sure, they say that, oh, my family still supports me, all this kind of stuff. But you're literally kicked out of the house, dude. And a lot of these factors have gone on and have very plagued Western society a lot, which is why I always say that, like the Eastern societies have taken a lot of from Western societies, but they still keep this part, about the family unity, like literal family unity. Like they almost like they live in a place very close by together, all these kind of stuff. They share a lot of time together, like the good old days, like you could tell your parents anything. They could tell you anything. They wouldn't judge you. If you were drunk, you could call them, and there would be no problem. I mean, they would give you lip, but I mean, there wouldn't be any consequence because they knew that a parent would say, "I'd rather you call me than you knowing that if you're in a situation where you're drunk, you have no way out. I'd rather you think of me as a way out, as a father, all that kind of things." So again, so many stereotypes have changed. One of these have been the famous age gap. The age gap thing is now a myth that everyone is trying to push. Oh, same age, or very close by, like 5 plus, 5 less. But studies show, and you can check this out, that an age gap of 10 plus is actually preferable, and it makes a lot of sense. I'll give a few pointers why. Uh, First of all, because both the male and the female, doesn't matter which age gap we're talking about. Uh, One has to be a little ahead of the other in order to be able to support, like or not. If we're both fresh out of college with $150,000 in debt, what are we gonna do? Basically, work ourselves to death until we pay that crap off. That's not fun. And then we went through things about biology and stuff like that. I mean, you watch stuff like this John Darcy with the Pride and Prejudice. He was 10 years older than Elizabeth. Even Saint Joseph and Mary, he was a widower with kids, with a 16-year-old girl. I mean, I'm not promoting pre-adult crap. Okay, just letting you know right now. No, uh, but it's all these things, like all these things that have changed during society and have been pushing since the 1970s and have been pushing to this day. And today we can find these kind of things that don't work. Again, with the age gap, that there people think, oh, it's because daddy issues. She's dating an older guy because daddy issues. Boo hoo hoo. He must be taking advantage of her. Boo hoo hoo. But psychological tests have proven that overwhelmingly these are the most psychologically sane, psychologically correct things to do. Like they're the most stable things. I mean, again, they're many times more stable than a common marriage nowadays, because you don't have this overlapping goals that are fighting with each other. We have very complementary goals that are fighting with each other. Well, not fighting, ironic. They're actually going together. And this is very important, especially again with the black family, which has been the one that has lost a lot. I mean, you have had laws about discrimination, you have had actions of discrimination, and in my humble opinion, this is one instance where the media has played a very strong role. Because like, if you treat, like they say in the Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, the scene with the bear, if you treat an animal like an animal long enough, that's what it's going to be, because they're supposed to be talking and, they have intellect and all these kind of things. So when you show that, oh, fathers are crap, they're useless, they should be gone, nobody wants them, people are happy without them, they're the only ones who put these stupid rules, blah, blah, blah. Oh, guess what? Now you have no parents. Oh, yeah, that's a good job. So, of course, everyone has free will, but we cannot deny that this social pressure through the media has affected a lot. And so this is why I actually very much, how do you say this, I admire John here for fighting the good fight even to this day. I mean, it's been 50 years and you can still see him talking about this, putting this out there. And I think it is very important for people to do it. So I'm, jumping on his bandwagon, and as whoever I reach, I hope, it helps. Try to find all these values that society has been changing and go back to those days. I mean, you can say, like, okay, you don't want religion, fine, but don't throw the baby with the bathwater. I mean, sure, maybe you don't have to do like a kneeling thing every 5 seconds, but there's certain values that can still be kept to this day. We can do a whole other subject about objective morality and subjective morality, but it's going to take a long time. But this is very important. We must go back to these values. The family must be saved, and it doesn't matter which one. I mean, any family has to be saved. Although I will say that specifically the black family, which is the one that has suffered the most. So if you like this video, please give it a share, a like, thumbs up, whatever. If you don't like it, give it a dislike and insult me on the comment. I don't care. I just got to say what I want to say. Have a good one.